Soon after Beijing announced the implementation of the Hong Kong National Security Law, many countries announced or unveiled special programs to attract fleeing Hong Kong talent. With more sanctions on China on the way, Hong Kong is very likely to lose its international financial center status. With all the dynamic changes in Asia, who will rise and who will fall? Hong Kong's rule of law, level of autonomy, talents, and its unique status serve as a gateway to China and has made it the largest financial center in Asia. Chinese and large foreign companies alike were happy to do business in Hong Kong, where they could mutually benefit each other. But with the Hong Kong National Security Law, things have changed. Reuters and Bloomberg reported that multiple giant enterprises and banks have prepared to withdraw from Hong Kong and mainland China due to political unrest, deteriorating relationships with the United States, and the trade war. Where will the money go? In 2019, GFCI 25 ranked Singapore, Shanghai, and Tokyo just behind Hong Kong among 100 financial centers across the globe. Let's look at some unique qualities of Tokyo and Singapore first. Tokyo, being the capital of Japan, has more Fortune 500 companies than anywhere else in the world. In addition to that, it has a well-established social and legal system, which gives companies confidence. Last year, Saudi Aramco was listed in Tokyo. This listing can be attributed to some key strengths of the Japanese market, being a dedication to confidentiality and established financing channels. In the past, Japan seldom participated in political discussions related to Hong Kong and mainland China, but the national security law seems to have struck a nerve in Japan. Shigeharu Suzuki, chairman of the Japan Securities Dealers Association, said on July 1st that Hong Kong will lose its status as an international financial center, and Japan will benefit from the capital shift. The Prime Minister of Japan and the ruling Liberal Democratic Party also introduced concessionary measures such as extending the length of stay or tax cuts to attract financial talents from Hong Kong. Media have described that Japan is eager to ride on the tailwind when investors are adopting an exit strategy from China and Hong Kong. However, Singapore, which has been competing with Hong Kong for a long time, is a strong contender. In terms of language, legal system, taxation, and financial regulations, Singapore is well equipped. Singapore belongs to the law of the sea legal system. The unwritten law legal system allows greater flexibility in the financial industry, while in Japan's written law system, the financial industry has to do everything under legal authorization. That is why many regard Singapore's market as being more appropriate as a financial sector. Singapore's stable political environment is also an advantage, with the Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong's party winning power for another term in the recent election. What about Shanghai? China has been trying to liberalize its financial sector for years. However, a complicated law system and capital control makes it difficult for investors to get money in and out, consequently hindering foreign investments. Since last year, China has also tightened controls on capital outflows. The Shanghai market is still dominated by domestic companies, which makes it unlikely to become a real international financial center. Now let's take a look at the core changing factors in the recent Asian market. After the US-listed Chinese company Luckin Coffee was delisted due to its fake account scandal, the US government began investigations on other Chinese companies, while Nasdaq also set up new listing regulations. The downsides of Chinese money has been exposed as lacking credibility and amongst the worst currencies out there. Facing pressure, a wave of Chinese companies went back to Hong Kong to list. Deloitte estimated that 6 more US-listed Chinese companies will return to Hong Kong before the end of 2020. It seems Hong Kong's role as a jump board hasn't changed, but now it's the Chinese companies that stand on it, waiting for another chance to launch to overseas markets. Singapore's stock market size is roughly a quarter of Hong Kong and smaller than Tokyo. Although it has a lot of cultural affinities with China, as an independent country, it is not quite similar to Hong Kong in the eyes of Chinese companies or officials. According to the Wall Street Journal, for decades, Singapore has devoted large efforts to attract Chinese capital. But under the current circumstances of foreign capital pulling out of China and Chinese capital returning to China, it doesn't look like Singapore will get much of it. According to the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, Hong Kong attracted $115 billion of foreign investment last year. In 2019, Hong Kong's stock market ranked 3rd in Asia and 5th in the world, with 2,449 listed companies and a total market value of $4.9 trillion. It's a huge pie not to be ignored. However, Japan still has difficulties to overcome, especially language and cultural barriers. Since taking office, the Abe Shinzo administration has introduced many policies and tax incentives to attract foreign professionals, including a 5-year visa program that leads to a way to permanent residency, similar to Canada and America. According to EF Education Institute, although the ranking has been declining over the years, Japan's average English proficiency index reached 51.51 over 100 in 2019, just 4 points lower than that of Hong Kong. At the same time, Japanese society is becoming more and more open to foreigners. With these factors, Japan could be able to take the leap and become the next top Asia financial hub.